What is up, everybody? Here we are live once again for the 21st time.
21.
Episode 21 of the Start Build Grow Show. Once again, we have an awesome guest we're getting ready to bring on. We are going to go split screen here in just a minute. So first and foremost, we'll kind of get the show going and get everybody welcomed in. As usual, we love comments. We love interacting with you. Go ahead and, say what's up. Let us know where you're from, what you're doing. Do you own a company? You work for a company? You just like the entertainment because this is such an amazing show. Just let us know. Nick, he loves his emojis, so definitely throw us an emoji on there. Say what's up. And what we got going? We're getting ready to get people in here and sharing the page out.
I'm sharing out some groups.
Good. What's up, guys? What's up, Chris, Danny? We got you on. We're going to bring you on in just a minute. But one thing was kind of cool today. I gotta get a little brag going on. One of my posts I put out on Instagram, like within 10 minutes of it, none other than Grant Cardone actually went on and liked it. So that was pretty cool. I got a little 2 seconds of Insta fame with Grant Cardone liking one of my videos. So that reminds me, go ahead and check us out on Instagram. If you're on Instagram, go ahead and check me out on there at _rooferpreneur. I like to put a lot of cool posts up there, so we're trying to build that following there as well. Here we go. I'm going to go ahead and look into trying to bring our dude Danny Kerr on and get this show on the road. Here we go. I'm sending it to you right now, man. All right, Danny, if you're watching, man, go ahead and send me an invite to jump on to get onto the show, and we'll get you in here. How's it going, everybody? How's everybody doing in the middle of the week? What's today? Tuesday? We're off. We're off by a day, but we're going to be covering a lot of cool stuff here today. We're talking about hiring, onboarding, and Danny definitely has a really cool show or a really cool story as well. He's got an awesome entrepreneurial story. So let's go ahead and check this out. Trying to add him in.
Let's see here.
Yeah, Danny, I added you, so go ahead and click the either accept button or invite yourself to the broadcast, and we'll bring you in here. As always, go ahead and share the show as well. We're getting going here, so make sure to share this out with your friends and family, and any roofing groups or contracting groups or any other groups that you are on.
Oh, right there.
Here we go.
So
we got it here.
Yep,
perfect.
Nice.
Here we go. Bringing them in.
Boom, boom, boom.
Countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2. I don't know. Try to get some dramatic.
It's definitely in process though. Huh?
Yeah, it says adding, so we're gonna add him in a minute. What's up, man?
Yeah.
Nick, how you been, dude?
I've been pretty good actually, man. I've been real good. Yeah, that's good, man.
What's new in the world of Nick Fred? We're gonna get Nick on here one of this time. We haven't drilled into this dude. He's got a cool story.
I just like asking questions.
And
he's
having a lot of fun with life right now. Make sure to click OK or accept there, Danny, and we'll get you jumped in.
What's up, Wesley? How we doing, man?
Spencer, Wesley, what's up, guys? How's everybody doing out there? Any major accomplishments over the week or over the last couple of days? Say hi. We should be adding here. Obviously, we always have a little bit of difficulty when we're trying to use our cell phones and do the split screen here. So we're going to continue trying to get Danny added in here. Let's see.
Yeah, re-add.
Let me try this. Here you go, man. Try it again. Just send it to you. I'm sure you're watching.
Suspense.
Yeah, I know. It's suspense. We can't have this dead air, man. Talk. This is the Start Build Grow Show. Kind of the rite of passage for us at this point, right? Technical difficulties always fun.
While this is going on, what's going on in the field right now? What do you guys see? What's going on? Any challenges you guys are having? Any big wins you guys are having? Stuff that you guys are actually implementing that we're talking about on the show right now? Anything going on?
Yeah, we're just seeing the fruits of all the labor we've put in over the last few years. It's like implement process.
Yeah.
Train. We've not only trained our sales team, but we trained our staff. We've trained everybody that we possibly can, and it's all just coming to fruition. We're just absolutely dominating on the sales end and just getting production in order and ramped up and crews going. And and restructuring a few things on the inside to make sure we can handle the volume that we're getting ready to get. But
Right.
yeah, it's been a pretty cool journey, and I'm glad you asked that because the question comes up about, hey, what up here kind of talking about roofing and telling people how to do things and how to grow and how to build their businesses. I feel really strongly that for me to even be up here and try to be a thought leader and tell other people how to build and grow their businesses, I have to have done it first.
Right.
So it's really cool to just continue to do things and continue to see the progression and the success that our companies have. And I want to reiterate with everybody, I'm just like you. I'm a roofer, I'm a contractor, I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm just trying new things, trial and error, just learning and doing different things every day. So it's been an awesome adventure, and I'm really excited to continue to share my journey with you guys. As I learn things, I want to share with you, and vice versa. Some of you, a lot of people watch that have maybe never even launched a company yet, or are just planning now to launch a company. There's a lot of contractors that have been around a long time trying to scale their business. So it's definitely pretty cool.
Yeah.
So let's try this one more time.
Yeah, let's give it a go.
I'm gonna go ahead and try this one more time, and then if not, we will jump back on here.
Not giving us an option.
Yeah, it's not giving us an option. You got to add us.
Possibly, because he's on the Breakthrough Academy one now. I wonder if you can add them, or if that's not even an option.
I'll try that.
Yeah, see if you can do that or not.
Give us just a sec. I'm going to try to add a different profile here. Oh, actually, it's not the. Bear with us. We're trying to bring Danny Kerr in, and we will get this show kicked off the right way. Here we go. Let's see if we can just get him back on here. It's not letting me. Bear with us. We're trying to get Danny in here. And of course, we're having some technical issues. He's coming all the way in from Canada. Hopefully there's no issues there.
So we got...
Oh, yep. Said you're invited, man. Let's go ahead and try this one more time.
So he's live right now, but it's on his own thing. Let's see here.
Yeah, you're going live on your own, man. We got some questions. Wes, what's up, man? Yeah, I'm licensed up in Fort Collins. We can roof up there. I know that's actually a really difficult place to get a license, so we can definitely do that. Here we go. I think we have Danny.
Come on.
Let me see if I can improve this and get him on.
Good about this.
This one may work.
This one's gonna work. Come on.
Let's get it.
Adding.
All right, we're adding him again. Thank you for bearing with us. I know there's a couple people on the show.
We apologize, guys.
We'll
hey,
get some
it's
more
been a few
coming out
episodes since we had some technical issues, so we figured we had to throw it in, give us a little curveball.
Definitely, yeah.
I made it.
Let's go, baby. Yeah.
Danny Kerr, what is up? How are you, buddy?
Good, man. I'm just gonna mute you here. That was a technical endeavor that
So hey, now that you're on, go ahead and share this thing out to your page, and we'll get some more followers jumped on back in here.
Yeah, share it out.
Wes, hit me up. I have a good buddy of mine I used to work with that he's out of Fort Collins, and he does specializes in remodels and does really good work. So shoot me a DM, Wes, and I'll get you connected there for sure. Danny Kerr, how you doing, man?
Good, man. Yeah, that was a little bit of an endeavor to get in here, but I'm here now, so that's good.
But we made it happen. I'm telling you, usually when we have some issues that started out, they're the best shows. I'm telling you. So we're gonna have some great stuff. Let's go ahead and let's at least get this thing kind of kick-started. What do you think of that?
Let's do it. What's up, Rudy? We're gonna turn it over to Nick. He's gonna get us
take
kicked off.
control for a little bit here, guys. What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining in. This is episode 21 of the Start, Build, Grow Show, where contracting and business meet. All right, and it's gonna be powered by the Roofing Academy, right? So succeed by helping others succeed. Summa Media, elevate your business, and Breakthrough Academy, grow your trades business. Today we have a great guest, Danny Kerr from Breakthrough Academy. We're going to be talking everything with hiring, onboarding, training, you name it. So if you guys have any questions about any of those topics, whether it's having struggles with hiring or training, customer or employee retention, anything like that, make sure you guys are punching those into the comments, and we'll jump on and we'll make sure we answer those questions. All right. But hey, this is the man tonight, the guy for the show, Danny Kerr, out in Vancouver, Canada. Right?
Well, he's a little bit north. Is he north? He's out in the boondocks now.
Is he in the boondocks?
Which is probably why we're going to have a little bit of a fuzzy connection.
Yeah, right.
This guy lives in the middle of nowhere in northern Canada.
Abbotsford, BC, man. Abbotsford, British Columbia.
Awesome, man. Well, congratulations on, you just had a baby, you just got a new place, and things in life seem to be going pretty well. Glad to finally have you. This is one of my brothers in the entrepreneurial world. He and I we've proven that we can literally stay up all night long talking about business and not even miss a beat. So welcome to the show, Danny Kerr. Let's go ahead and get started like we normally do with your story. I mean, that's what this show is all about. We want to tell a story. We want to tell the entrepreneurial journey in the construction trade space. So hit us with the Danny Kerr story. How did you become an entrepreneur, and what was your moment that kind of solidified you becoming an entrepreneur and chasing your business ownership dream?
Totally. Yeah, I think we all got stories, right? And especially being an entrepreneur it's a strange path to choose, I think, for a lot of people, right? It's not first thing you go to school and they all teach you to be an entrepreneur. You kind of have to figure it out for yourself. No one's telling you to go do this. So definitely for me, I mean, it did come out of, I'd say, probably a lot of turmoil. Like for one, like school, I'm sure like a lot of entrepreneurs I meet are dyslexic or ADD. Like I suffer from a pretty, standard, but yet severe, form of dyslexia. So I always struggled in school and never really fully found my place there. And, I had a lot of struggles with family. I know I lost my dad when I was younger and really didn't have a mentor or someone to follow and a place to kind of call my own. So I had to kind of create it, I guess you'd say. So when I was 18, I started my first painting business and through a company called College Pro Painters. And they kicked my butt and they showed me what I was made of. And it gave me a chance to really just see what I actually could do. And, we did well. I remember making about $4,000 my first, month, about $8,000 my next month. Then I started making about $10,000 a month profit every single month after that. And it didn't take long to realize, like, you know what, getting a job is great for a lot of people, but I have a knack for this whole business thing. And within a couple of years, I had a pretty full-fledged painting company. Ended up working on a national level with College Pro, which was a really unique experience. And the way that school tells you to do or other people tell you to do it. You can make your own rules up and you can create your own reality. And it takes a bit of guts. It takes a lot of hard work. But for me, I don't think there's any other option. I don't think I fit in anywhere else properly. And I think I just had to go.
You're just as unemployable as I am, aren't you?
Pardon?
You're just as unemployable as I am, aren't you?
I can't. No one's going to employ me. Most of the jobs I've ever had have been fired from. So
yeah, right. The worst entrepreneurs the worst employees make the best entrepreneurs.
Exactly. So yeah, for me it was just like, you know what, I don't have many other options. I am pretty good at business. I love it, to be honest. Like I fucking love what I do, and it's just easier. Like I'm not meant for a job, and sometimes people just need to figure that out on their own. I wish education would teach you that. I wish they would tell you that is an opportunity, because it took a lot of pain to figure that out. So.
Yeah, and probably a lot of money spent at the universities as well. Here, Nick's got another for you.
Okay, so I've gone to a couple of your speaking engagements and stuff like that you do at a lot of these conferences. You do a great job. You provide a lot of content. So what I want to do is I want to try to maximize this time where people can kind of feel like what it's like going to one of your speaking engagements and get that content, and they can actually use that in their businesses. So one question I want to start out with, which is a huge problem, is let's say that you need to hire a salesperson, right? Let's go step by step on how to properly find the right person and implement them in your business.
Right. And you know what, before I even give you steps, I'm going to preface it with this one thing. Is I talk to a lot of business owners and I say to them, what's your biggest challenge? And for a lot of them, especially in trades and home services, it's finding people, right? It's their biggest challenge. They're like, look, we got more work than we can shake a stick at, but man, like finding good people is freaking impossible. And the truth is, when I get into their financials and I start to really look at their business, I'm like, so you're spending $25,000 a year on Google AdWords, and you spent $500 a year on recruiting budgets, and your biggest challenge is recruiting? Like, let's just start there.
That's a good
right? Let's just start with that. Before we even talk strategy or any fancy things to make you feel good, why don't we put a little more focus, time, effort, and money on it? And what happened is, I think in 2008, the recession hit, work became a massive, problem for people to be able to get. So sales and marketing was the thing. That's the way to dig yourself out of that hole that you might have been in back in 2008. And that became a cycle. And now everyone's selling you more leads, more leads, more leads. I don't think that's the case anymore. I think about 4 years ago, the economy got stimulated in a way that I don't know if we've ever seen. In Vancouver, Canada, we had house prices increase 30% year over year, every single year, the last 3 years. That's almost 100% increase in 3 years. And so everyone's got buyer's confidence. Everyone wants to renovate their house now. Everyone wants to do some work. And now there's a vacuum on people. And maybe your budget on AdWords or marketing or whatever it was used to work for you and used to be the number one thing. But just number one tip to a lot of you before I even get into strategy is look at how much you're spending in sales and marketing and start to wonder how much time, effort, and money you might want to reallocate to recruitment. And I'll get into the strategies of what those will look like, but it will take some time, effort, and money to do them properly.
Yeah, and that's something that we've talked about a lot, and I've learned from you guys and working with you guys as well at the Breakthrough Academy is all about the mindset of the strategy of the marketing and branding side, because we're wired to think, okay, marketing and branding is for one purpose and one purpose only, to get leads, right? No, marketing and branding, like branding your company is not just for getting leads. Branding your company is for attracting employees, attracting subcontractors, and building a reputation above and beyond just your direct clientele, because it's a lot easier to build a company when you have more people that are out there representing that brand and saying good, positive things about that brand. It's amazing what happens. So it's a mindset. Like, we need to be thinking more about branding our company to attract great talent versus branding our company just to get leads.
Totally. Yeah. It's, as an entrepreneur, you're marrying in people's time and labor with a customer's need, and you're connecting those two. If you're only good at one of them, then you're the one doing all the time and labor, and you really don't have a company. You're just selling your time for money. So
yeah, you just bought yourself a really stressful job.
Exactly.
Literally, you start a company and you realize shortly that you just created a really stressful job for yourself.
Yeah, man. And it's reality for a lot of people. So let's get into some stuff here. Let's talk about.
Well, let's talk about recruiting a little bit, because you had some backgrounds in. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, if you want, I can lay out some stuff. What do you want from me? Poke me, I'll bleed a little bit.
Let's go to the question of how to. So, what position do you think, from your experience? Obviously, you work with hundreds of contractors. What is like the toughest position that people are looking to fill? Is it the skilled position, the trade position? Is it salespeople? What's the hardest position?
Yeah, like the simple positions are somewhat easy to find. I mean, at some level, like finding a basic grunt guy to go out, do some basic work isn't that hard to find. But yeah, what's really difficult is finding a really good project manager or a good sales manager.
Okay.
Or a really reliable.
Okay, let's do that then. Let's do a sales manager. Let's go step by step of how to go about hiring that sales manager.
Awesome. So a couple things.
Yeah, that's a great question.
First with any role, no matter what role it is, you need to build what's called an ideal candidate profile. So if you've ever done any kind of marketing for a customer, you often look for an ideal customer, right? Who is this customer? What do they think about? How old are they? Where do they live? How much money do they make? What are their needs? What are their fears? You kind of want to do the same thing, but for a candidate, right? So you think about, what are their core values? What's important to them? What are their fears? What do they love about their job? What do they hate about their job? What's important to them about their career? What are they saving for in the long term? What are they trying to achieve in their lives? And when you think about that, you're going to start to think about all the needs and fears and aspects of somebody else's brain. And the best way to find those things out is, if you do have other sales managers, or you know somebody who's a good sales manager in another company, is to go interview that person, not for the sake of hiring them, maybe they already work for you even, but to understand them at a deep level, right? So an example of this is, I remember a while ago, one of the franchisees I was hiring, I brought him in and I really liked him. I wanted more of him. So I sat down with him over lunch and just asked him all these questions and basically just said, like, you know, what's important to you? Why did you join us? What do you love about your job? What do you hate about your job? What motivates you? And for him, he's big into sports. He was the captain of his football team. He was all about the competition, all about scoring points, all about leading people. And he's like, Danny, I'm your project manager on this painting crew because you treat it like you're my coach and I'm running a team. And I get to score touchdowns with you every single day. And that competitive nature inside of me drives me more than my paycheck. And when I started to understand that, like, I always knew he liked leading people, but I didn't know the minutia of what that meant. I could use that same language, that same lingo, even in simple things like my job ad, right? So instead of saying sales manager needed, I could say things like quarterback needed to run our sales team and score touchdowns every day, right? And speak a little bit more.
Yeah, there's good thinking.
Yeah. So
I love
would
that
write a heading that would I would write a heading that would attract the guy based on their needs. I would write a company description that was all about what that guy told me he loves about our company. I would write a description of duties, all about the things that guy told me he loves about his job. And I would get them kind of drooling over the job. And there's certain people that would read that ad and be like, this is a silly, stupid job description. This is not for me. But then I'd get that one guy who reads that, and that is like everything he's been thinking about. He's like, frick, this is a way better job than what I have. Or this is exactly what I've been looking for. And I want to speak to that person. Just that person.
There you go.
Versus being a generalist and trying to just, you know, be competitive with everybody else. My ad sticks out, but to that one guy. Right?
Yeah, we've worked on this. I love it because we've been able to kind of collaborate some content here. So maybe we'll throw a bonus in for somebody and give them a you know, a profile worksheet or something to work on. But I think so many contractors and business owners in general just go so wrong because they just don't put any effort into hiring, and then they blame the system. They blame the market, but all they're doing is throwing an ad. I need this, call me. Or, you know, labor needed for X, Y, and Z. There's very little description. There's very little thought or energy that goes into capturing your target audience, just like you would a marketing company, or just like you would you're marketing an actual client. Like, I love that. It's fantastic advice.
Yeah, the general.
All right,
go ahead, Danny. What do you have to add on to that?
I was just going to say the general theme that I'm going to give a few more strategies that build off of this that help you get apps and interview people. But the general theme is you need to kind of transition your like recruiting process into a bit more of like a sales and marketing process, right? So stage one, marketing, ideal candidate. The ad that you'd put out to a customer is your job ad that you're going to put out to the public, right? Next step is to figure out where to put it. Where do we put this thing so it gets in front of the right people? Which I can get into in a second here. But Nick, you had a question?
Yeah, well, so I kind of just wanted to follow that up because, okay, let's say you do find the right fit. What does that onboarding process and the training process look like to make sure that they're successful in the organization?
Totally. Let me get into that in a second. There's one important note I wrote down I wanted to speak about in this. That is, it's great to write up an ad and have a really cool looking ad, but you also got to get it in front of people properly, right? So a lot of people are like, what do? I post on Craigslist and I get a ton of shitty applications. So what's the best way to get my ad out? So I'll give you guys all a few key tips, very practical things that I use every single day that work really, really well. So I'll start with maybe the best one first, actually, just because it's nice and juicy. We use Facebook to recruit. We use Facebook super heavy to recruit. One of the best things we can do is we draw up this ad. We actually host it on our website. So I'll have a backlink. And then basically I send out that link to 100 to 200 people on my Facebook. And I leave them all a message. It's a personal message. I type to each individual person. Say, hey, so-and-so, our company XYZ is currently looking for a person XYZ role. Curious, do you know anybody who would fit the description? See link below. P.S. We're also offering a $500 hiring bonus if you do know anybody to thank you for your time. And so I will personally send that out to 100 to 200 people. But here's where the magic really hits. I'll also get me and all my staff to do it as well. So right now we have 15 staff. If we have each of them do it to say 100 people each, that's 1,500 messages that individually get sent out personalized to people within 2 hours. And when you have 1,500 messages go out to people and you're saying things like, do you know anybody who would fit this? So you send it to people you think would be a good fit. You also send it to people you think would be just a good connector. You're going to get some buzz on this. You're going to get people landing on that page and reading that description. And you're not going to have everybody, but you're going to have a few people read that and be like, that is me. I'm interested. Or that's my cousin Jack. That's totally him. He should see this. And you're going to get in front of people that aren't on Craigslist, aren't looking for a job, are already busy doing what they're doing, but you're going to get their attention. So that's our most powerful strategy that we use, and I really encourage people to use that.
And I'll vouch.
More, Randy, yeah.
We've used that, and we've grown and added, man, over the last couple of years, I think 15 employees, you know, and it's been very minimal effort with just that strategy. It's literally, we've built from within. We've focused our branding on creating an attractive place, an attractive environment to work. And then as soon as our staff share a Facebook post or share something, within, you know, half a day, we have an inbox full of resumes.
Yeah, totally. And it's networking, but it's controlled networking, right? It's networking your staff, but doing it in a controlled environment. Literally pull them all in for pizza and beer at the end of the day on a Friday and have them all do it with you. Because if you just ask them, do you know anybody? They might pass you a referral, but they often forget about it and they really don't dig into their network properly. But this forces that process to happen. I'll give you one other good one that's using social media is on LinkedIn. So we'll do the exact same thing, but on LinkedIn. And instead of me getting all my staff involved, I'll just do it personally. I'll spend $90 a month for an advanced search function on LinkedIn, and I basically can start to go by geographical location, job type, and also even keyword search, like key things like past experiences that maybe I know some of my key people have, that I can say, hey, if they also have those past experiences, I want them to pop up in my search query. I press search. Pops up with a couple hundred people. I just click to connect with all of them. I let them slowly connect with me. So they re-engage and they accept my connection. And I send them the exact same message. Hey, so-and-so, awesome. Thanks for connecting. Read a bit through your profile. Thought it's pretty cool what you do. Curious if you know anybody that would fit this description. And, birds of a feather flock together or whatever. Like minds think alike. Let me know. P.S. We're offering a $500 hiring bonus. I'll send that out to a couple hundred people. And have those people either A, self-identify and be like, that's actually me, which I know it is because I've searched for those types of people, or like minds do know like minds, and maybe they can refer me out to somebody. And now I'm getting, again, my message out, but to a network that I don't even know.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I definitely like the Facebook one as well. I think that one's, especially because you're looking for people that are like-minded, like the people that you already have in your organization. So when you're using that current network that you have of employees, I love that method, and I don't think that's used enough, to be honest with you. Okay, so those are some great methods. So we're looking at, Facebook, LinkedIn. Now, what about when you do find that right candidate for the job? What are we looking at? Like, because I want to make sure, now that we found the right person, that they're trained well, right? They feel appreciated, and they're successful.
Yep. Yeah. So let's even back up before training. Like, if you get applicants coming in, here's another thing. I used to get 100 resumes a day. So I was recruiting for all of Western Canada. I had a mandate to hire 150 franchisees a year. It's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people.
So I get 100 resumes a day. And I had to figure out how to filter through them and get to the top ones first. Here's something interesting I noticed. I'd score everybody out of 10. My 9s and 10s out of 10s were getting jobs within a week. My 8s usually within 2 weeks out of 10s. And my 7s and below usually didn't have jobs within a few weeks, and a lot of them were the ones reapplying. Like my 6s and below, they'd always be reapplying to me every couple of months. It's the same bucket of people. Yeah. So if you're ever wondering, like, there's no good people applying for me, and the people I do set up don't even show up for interviews, chances are you're not quick enough to the punch, and some of your best people are already hired before you even get a chance to call them, and they're just not calling you back. So just be on it. Like within 24 hours of getting a good application, within an hour of getting a good application, call that person, because your 10 out of 10s are getting jobs within the week. Okay, they're snapped up fast. Mm-hmm. So I would be on it with my resumes. I'd organize everything out of 10. I'd call them right away. I'd do a pre-screening call for 20 minutes on the phone, kind of like a mini interview, where I would A, sell them into the job. So ask them their needs and sell them into what we have to offer. And B, pre-screen them on a few key questions that I know are kind of deal breakers. And then finally, I would set up with a very structured interview. A set time with some preparation to come into the interview, with a set location, with a phone number to call if anything comes up. And I would make them write it down. And I would be very stringent on, like, my time is important. I hope you respect yours as well. Make sure you're on time, and make sure you're prepped appropriately. So I would have them treat it seriously. Because if I'm just in my truck driving around quickly being like, yeah, I'll see you on Tuesday at Starbucks. Okay, bye. They're not going to remember. And the chances of them really showing up on time, prepped, whatever, they might show up late and be like, fuck it, I'm not even going to show up for the interview. I'll just go somewhere else. I already made a bad impression. By getting them prepared and holding rigor and structure right away, you're going to get more of the right people showing up. And what do you think that does for the candidate, knowing that you're taking it that seriously right away? What do you think they think about
They're going to
when they're starting to go through?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a serious gig. This is a real job, right?
Yeah.
So that's key number one. And then when you're interviewing people, we teach this, but we teach you how to basically do a personality-based interview. I'm a big believer that people's personalities and personal traits matter more than just their skill and experience. Skill and experience you can train in over time. I'm a big believer to hire younger people that have less experience but have good ability to handle stress, have good values, have good introspection, or are coachable. These things matter a ton more than just, can you put on a roof? Can you sell a job? I'll train those into you if you have the natural ability to learn those things. And now I'll get you at a lower rate. I'll spend more time with you initially, but I'll get you in a way that you're more loyal to my brand and you're ready to work hard for me, versus have a big ego, have all the skill. You might tell me all the things you could do for me. I want to know what you have done and see those past experiences so I can predict and help you, basically do better for me in the future. Past performance always predicts future results. Don't let people BS you and tell you all the stuff that they would do for you if given a chance. Ask them what they have done. Ask them about the life experiences, the sports teams they've been a part of, maybe the losses they've had in their family, the goals they've set for themselves, and look at the stuff they've achieved. It may not be in your industry. It may not be with that specific type of job, but those little experiences when they were younger will help fuel their personality to continue to learn in the future.
So true. That's great. All right. So we talked about finding the right people, right? Making sure that you're taking that tone very seriously in terms of how you go about scheduling the interview, making sure that they're prepared, everything like that. Now, after that interview process goes through, what are we looking at now? Let's go step by step. I want to make sure that they know how to go this whole thing.
Sure. So next step. So you've done the interview. I like to ask at the end of the interview a trial close question. So basically what it is great. Great, Nick, like, great interview. Thanks for all your time. I'm going to spend the rest of my day going through resumes and make sure we have the right fit. I have a few more interviews lined up. But I would be interested to probably chat with you more in the future. Let's say this is someone I'm interested in bringing on. But I do have some things to think about. So in the meantime, just so I know where you're at with things, if you were offered this job in the next day or two, is this something that you'd be willing and able to take on? And what that's going to do initially is you're not offering them the job. You're not saying, hey, I'm going to give you the job yet. I still want to look at more people. But you're going to pull out any objections that person has. Because if they're thinking in their minds, they're like, yeah, like, this is pretty real now. Like, this guy's asking me if I'd actually take this job. They'll tell you right away, well, like, I do actually have to figure out a couple more things. I should talk to my wife first about this, or I do have this other job. I'd have to set up a couple weeks before I actually left. They're going to give you any objections right away that you can handle. So again, it's, I've got a few more resumes and people to talk to. I don't really know 100% this will be a good fit, but just to know where you're at right now, if we were to offer you this position, are you in a position and able to take it on? Would you accept it, basically? Because if you've ever done this, if you ever offered somebody a position, especially on the spot without doing a trial close, and they actually tell you, thanks, I probably want to take it, but can I get back to you tomorrow? I have a few things I got to check into first. Now the ball's in their court. And now you're going to be calling them like that, that girlfriend that doesn't want to call you back. And it's going to get super awkward.
That's a good point. Yeah. I like that. All right. So, okay. Do you have anything you want to say? Yeah. You have anything you want to say to that, Randy?
No, I mean, you're killing it. Sorry, I had to jump out there for just a sec, but that's awesome. I love just the overall concept of just doing something a little bit more creative. Like, try to just step outside the box a little bit when you're recruiting people and hiring people and doing all these type of things. It's amazing if you just take some time to think, how can I do something different? It's amazing if you just take a second to stop and breathe and think. You can come up with some cool ideas, and you might as well try them, test them. A lot of this stuff that Danny talks about comes from history and just trial and error and figuring things out. And they've come up with an awesome strategy, and it's great, man. Thank you so far. That's really good stuff. Anything else on that subject that you would kind of leave as a nice tidbit?
Well, I want to. Sorry to cut you off, Danny, but I do want to make sure we talk about the training and retention process. So say whatever you got to say, but after that, I definitely want to dive into retention.
So
Randy,
let's get into that. So when I'm onboarding somebody, I'll usually within the day, within 24 hours, set up for an onboarding meeting. We'll then meet up for usually an hour to 2 hours even. And what I'll do is I'll have a prepared employment agreement where I'm going to go through it, and they're quite lengthy. I have like a 9-page employment agreement that we can template. We probably give it out to some of the people, but it basically at the top has.
Yeah, we have some templates for that stuff.
Yeah. So the top, it has some deliverables. It has like key things that people are accountable for. My little girl's here. There's my baby. We'll bring her this. Hey, Haley, you want to come up?
Oh, we love kids,
Oh,
man.
yeah,
We love kids. I told you he's a new father.
This is actually this is the middle child. I have a younger one. I have a 3-month-old and a 4-year-old. We're busy. There's my wife. Here, you want to take? Okay, there you go.
See, that's how you roll. Entrepreneurs, man. You work from home. You get to spend time with the kiddos. You work late. It's good stuff.
What were we talking about? We were talking about, onboarding meetings. So in an onboarding meeting, you do about an hour. You go through their employment agreement. I usually write up key goals. So you're accountable for booking $1 million. You need to do 210 quotes to hit that. And you need to maintain a 40% closing ratio, or whatever the key numbers are going to be that you're going to hold them accountable to. You then have a list of all the tasks that go into each one of those things. Like to have $1 million booked, you need to set up so many quotes. You need to do so much prospecting per week. You need to, like, all the tasks that go into making that real. And you just get agreement with them throughout, saying these are the things I'm going to commit to you to doing. I'm going to help you get there. I'm going to coach you through the year to get this. And if you do this, here's your compensation for hitting that. Here's your base salary. Here's how your bonuses are going to be working. They're all based on your goals. And there's now direct accountability and rigor and structure to them getting to where they need to be. Because one of the biggest reasons people quit after they've been hired by you is missed expectations. Because usually you don't set them properly. And then 3 months later, they already made up their own in their mind what they thought they should be, and they feel wronged. Not because you promised something you didn't deliver on, but because you just didn't promise anything and you let them make up the rules. So set up a proper employment agreement, walk them through it properly, have them sign off on it with you. Now, the most important thing is your training process has to help them deliver on those goals, right? So I'm going to hold you accountable to doing setup calls and hold you accountable to doing a quote and knowing how to fill out an estimate sheet and all this stuff. I better be willing and ready to train you on all that stuff as well, or at least check in to make sure you know how to do this stuff properly and score you on it and give you feedback as you grow. So your first 6 months with me, I might not really give a fuck if you give me any real sales results. My goal with you is to make you successful, is to help you get on track to hit these numbers. My second 6 months, though, you better be hitting numbers because I had to put time into you. I always say to people, in the first 3 months, you'll kind of know whether or not someone's working as long as you're putting time into them. And it's usually either, if they're not working out, it's either skill or it's commitment. If it's skill, that means you need to spend more time training with them. That's on you as an owner. If it's commitment, it means either you missed some expectations early on or you made the wrong hire and they have different core values than you and they're never going to be committed to your brand and you need to exit the relationship.
So it goes back to it goes back to the hire slow, fire fast thing. It's if it wasn't the right thing, you got to know if you made a mistake, you got to know when to pivot, know when to go a different direction, and don't waste too much time on a hire that is not a long-term fit or a long-term solution for your company. Because in the long run, it's just going to cost you money and time and energy, and it's going to cost you. It's going to hurt your growth because you're putting energy into an asset, a human asset that is not a long-term solution. So a thing with that I always try to think about when hiring and onboarding and bringing all people in on this same topic line is I want to bring people on that I look at it from like, these are assets. These are people that, with a combination of providing for them and their family and them providing and buying into what you're trying to build as a company, you want to be looking for people that can be there for the long term. That's how you get that infrastructure in place to grow and scale your business. That's why you see so many businesses that just either can't grow because they don't have this process down, or they grow too fast because they have a process, but it's not the right process. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think at the end of the day, like, there's no book really on being an entrepreneur. I mean, we've all started, you created one now, Randy, right? But we've got.
There kind of is. Here you go. Now he's got his plug.
Well, no, thanks for the plug, bro. There we go. There kind of is.
There is some lessons. Me and you were both on this adventure now of trying to train people these things. But there's not very many resources out there on how to do this properly. But when you really look at it, when you really break business down, it is a bit of a science. There is a bit of a process to it. It actually is kind of a beautiful machine. When you set it up properly, You know, your financial plan should connect to your organizational structure, and all goals should be clearly defined. Your org structure should be clearly defined into your job descriptions. That should dictate who you recruit and how you find people. That should dictate how you train people and what you train them. That should then dictate how the company is basically going to move forward every single year. And when you really understand how to connect all those pieces properly together, it becomes a machine. It becomes a cog that you turn every day that turns 2 other cogs or 3 other cogs. And those 3 other cogs, which are people, turn 3 other cogs on top of them. And slowly you have a machine that runs, and all you need to do is spin one of the cogs and let the rest of the thing beautifully work. But when you don't have that machine set up properly, you might be 3 of those cogs. You might have duct tape on one of them that breaks every Tuesday that you got to fix. You might have a baling twine on one that worked for 2 years, but now it doesn't work anymore because it's spinning too fast. Like, you have to really look at your company as a bit of a machine and realize that as you build it, the systems and processes need to be built properly with them. And if you get to a certain point with it, but ignoring that because you're just too busy in the day-to-day, you will fall apart. You'll be like a Honda Civic engine revving way too high, and eventually the thing's going to blow.
And you and I see that all the time. I mean, we see that every day in our discussions and journey and working with contractors across the whole United States and Canada. We see it all the time. It's just I kind of chalk it up to like a lot of business owners don't really know what they don't know, you know. So they're just trying to fit all these pieces and trying to make this machine work. Whereas if they had just someone and something to kind of lean on to give them a little nudge, a little guidance, a little, hey, maybe this piece fits better over here, and they'll and maybe make a tweak to this one, and they'll run a little bit better. And then eventually you start taking those hats off and you start delegating and then finding which piece of that machine fits you best as a leader and as a business owner. And that's when the sparks really fly. That's when things really start to take flight when you're building out a company. And I think the key takeaway here is you can start from day one with process, right?
Yeah.
Too often we just grind and chug along and just, you know, fly by the seat of our pants, and we don't have any process in place, and we already got all these employees and we're growing and all this structure, and then what happens? Oh crap, I need process, and you struggle and you hit ups and downs. Why not approach your business from day one? How do I create a process for A? And then I'll create a process for B. And then I'll create a process for C. Oh, A's not working, let's go ahead and amend that process, right? That's the mindset we need to get people into when they're thinking about starting and building and growing, you know, construction companies.
Totally. One thing I always say to people is be prepared to spend 5 hours a week working on the company. And that'll grow over time. Yep. Eventually that'll be your 40 to 50 hour a week job, is to work on the company. But even in the beginning, if you can spend 5 hours a week working on the company, that'll save you hundreds of hours, thousands of hours potentially in the future, and hundreds of thousands of dollars in mistakes that you never made. And I see it time and time again. People don't put value on that because there's not enough immediate gratification. And they're in this mindset of like, I've got too much urgent and highly important things to do things that are important but more urgent in the future, that aren't pressing my time. And you know what? That's okay. Honestly, that's okay in the first year or two, especially when you just got to go out there and sell and market and push and just get something going. But if you're 2 years into business now and you're ignoring that habit of trying to put 5 hours a week in because you just have excuses really as to why you don't have time for it, then you're just going to get busier. You know, I used to work 80 hours a week doing this painting business, and I was stressed out, man. I worked so bloody hard. Now I was motivated to do it, but at a certain level, it just became not my fun thing anymore. And I realized something had to change. And I started to, you know, I took some classes. I took some classes on situational leadership, conflict management, which is 2 big things for just leading my team better. And a big one was on priority management and just how to actually use my time more effectively. And I took myself from working 80 hours a week the next year to working 40 hours a week. And this was through the recession. So this was 2009. And I grew our business from 1.3 million to 1.8 million in that next year. I grew, I had more time for myself, and I realized I needed to run the business, not have the business run me. And it seems cliche to say it, but it's so true. And you know what it started with? 5 hours a week. A little bit of planning for the next 2 weeks, what I'm going to go do, a little bit of block scheduling of my time, and a lot of delegating and saying no to things that are distractions. You know, like I know you're ADD. I've got a little bit of ADD in me and a lot of dyslexia, so we think differently, and it's a beautiful thing. It gives us creativity and things to go do that normally people would never do. But at a certain level too, we need to harness that properly, and that energy needs to be harnessed by having some focus in our lives. And then we're unstoppable.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. It's a blessing and a curse to just be always on hyperdrive. But if you're on hyperdrive going in the wrong direction, it could be troublesome. So it's like you got to constantly kind of steer that ship in our heads as ADD, dyslexic, crazy entrepreneurs. But that's awesome stuff, man. What else? We had a couple. We got a couple questions and a couple of things we got.
Questions, but I think I might have another question too.
Okay, great.
For Danny. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna post on the comments that video that we checked out about the summer retreat that you had.
Cool.
One thing that I love about you guys is you guys are so dialed in with processes on everything, it seems like. And we know whether you're looking at strategic planning, your goals, it is all dialed in. Yet, I feel like you guys do not spend that much time in the boardroom, and you spend a lot of time outside having fun. And it's incredible to see that, right? I mean, that's what everybody wants. So how do you guys create such a powerful culture and yet are so effective, most likely more effective than a lot of people that aren't, doing that kind of stuff?
I'll bring this up too about Igor. Like, there's a lot of intentionality in what we do. Igor was on your guys' show earlier. I give a lot of credit to him. I mean, he has really been very intentional to make sure that we don't grow and give up our lives to do it, right? I've got 3 kids. Igor's busy as all heck. James Dale, our third partner, he's got 2, 1 kid, another one coming. Like, we are, well, not yet, but hopefully soon you're gonna start trying. So, but we're all in a place right now where we need to take care of our lives. We need to take care of our health. And we need to also have a fun business. I love business. Business to me is a game. It's a big toy. And one thing I've always realized, like, life can be a lot more complicated when you make it complicated. I grew up on welfare. I grew up on $800 a month. My mom raised me. And I was pretty happy. I had a sandbox, made me happy. It was good enough, right? I didn't need all the fancy things in life. To me, being an entrepreneur is a game. It's a thing to go have fun with. But the minute it becomes you and it owns you and you don't have any other identity, then you've lost the whole point of being an entrepreneur in the first place. And for me, it's just like, as long as I can eat, sleep, poop, and breathe, I'm pretty good. Like, life's pretty good. And we live in North America where, like, all that stuff is already provided for us, like, regardless of what we do or how successful we are. But sometimes we get super confused about what success actually is. And if we're slightly lower in revenue the next year, or we lost a little bit of money in our business early on, we freak out and we say, we're failures, we're terrible. And it rips us apart. And then we go and work harder and get more stressed. And that impacts our performance. And then nobody wants to work with us or buy from us because we look stressed out. But when you're just like, you know what, fuck it. Life's good. This is an awesome, fun game. Let's go try it out. And in the meantime, let's also enjoy our weekends and get away. Then you can run something that means more to you. You have more fun along the way. And you don't have to build it all at once. I mean, it'll come over time. But there's a lot of opportunity here. And we just don't need to be so obsessed about it. It could just be one of the aspects that we live for.
Yeah, it's all about that balance, but it goes to understanding what your why is and what your purpose is. I think too many people have been conditioned to this mindset of what an entrepreneur is. An entrepreneur is a guy that works 10x and 80 hours a week and flies in his planes and drives his Lambos, and that's not entrepreneurship. In my mind, entrepreneurship is freedom. The freedom to do what you want, when you want, and not have to worry about the financial aspects of that. And if you appreciate that and appreciate business and entrepreneurship for the game that it is, for just the absolute enjoyable experience that it is, it opens up a whole new world. And I'll rehash back to what you talked about a minute ago, and I'll vouch. I mean, you and I have been working together for 2-3 years now, and I've always had that mindset of, hey, how do I build a business and get to a place where I'm working on my business, not in my business? And I was about 50 to 60% there. I was, halfway still dealing with all the fires and halfway putting some energy on working on my business. And then as soon as I kind of took that role upon myself of focusing on my business, focus on business strategy, next thing you know, 67% growth last year. We're on the same trajectory this year. One of the fastest growing companies in the entire country, and I'm working less. Let that sink in for a minute. It'll blow your mind, but it's absolutely true, because if you can figure out the formula of how to work on your business and put the right people in the right places on the bus, you can build an amazing thing and create an amazing life for a lot of different people. and create freedom in a way that you never even expected. That's what I feel like entrepreneurship is all about. It's not about money. Who cares? Money is it's just a means to an end. You have to have money. It takes money to make money, right? You got to have money to pay your bills. Got to have money to travel, blah, blah, blah. Great. That's all fun. But the freedom to do these things when you want, there's nothing like it.
Oh. Yeah, man. And we got to be reminded of that too. Like I'll be the first to say I believe in all that stuff and I live it, but I also forget about it sometimes. And I get ADD or distracted and I go spend too much time doing something I shouldn't. And it's good to have good people in your corner. You know, I have like I said, I have two other business partners. They hold me extremely accountable to building a business, but having a life along the way. And like I was saying earlier with Igor, like he's the one who plans a lot of these trips. He's the one who makes sure that we get away to do a lot of this stuff, because I think he really values that life wasn't always about business at one point, right? And doesn't always need to be. So, yeah.
That's that balance, man. I love it.
That's it. So that's most of what
That's what we do. We teach people how to find that, right? There's our shameless plug for both of our academies.
Yeah. So we got the lead, then we got another question here. So do you want to go to the question and then we'll go to the lead?
Sure. Let's fire off just a couple little questions for you. I'll let you answer first, and if I have something, I'll throw it in, and I'll go pass it back over to Nick.
Okay. So yeah, Sebastian asked this a while ago, so I'm sorry for the wait, bud, but Sebastian asked, should I pay for leads or should I canvas and door knock?
I think both. I mean, for me, I've always been, as far as marketing goes, I do what's called waves and webs. So I will go out in waves and do strategies every month consistently, and webs in the sense of I will do many strategies all at once. So right now we have about 6 or 7 different marketing strategies, all bringing in different leads from different sources. One starts to die down at one part of the season, the other one's coming back up. What I really like to have is a combination of active and passive marketing. So active is door knocking, home shows, referrals, like speaking with people. Passive is Google AdWords, signs, flyers, things where you're just putting yourself out and letting others contact you. And having a good combination of both will help you kind of have more control over your marketing.
Yeah, no, I would venture, I'd say the exact same thing. The traditional, just straight up cold call door knocking, that's a challenge. That topic comes up all the time, where a lot of roofers are in the storm business game or the storm chasing game. And historically, before technology and the internet and reviews and homeowners, getting educated, it was really easy to just send a team of people out to bang on doors. But it's a lot easier if you're knocking on a door where you've been recommended by the neighbor, or you've already worked with somebody that they know or something like that, which the referral game comes into play. So I really like to, obviously, just like you said, you want to hit it from multiple angles. You want to be door knocking, and you want to be doing any sort of marketing you can to be getting those inbound leads. And if it's something where the price is right and you have the right company, yeah, there's some value in buying some leads. But what do you do with those leads when you buy them? You want to capitalize above and beyond what you purchase. So say you buy a couple of leads, or you work with a company and you purchase some leads, you need to be turning those leads into 2, 3, 4, 5 leads by getting referrals, asking for referrals, talking to the neighbors, knocking the doors after you meet with those clients. So yeah, there's a combination of buying leads and door knocking can be very, very effective. And that's how we do. We've built a brand to where we get a lot of leads. And I'm glad that we brought this up, because I have a good buddy of mine. He was on a couple of weeks. Perfect transition here. He just literally messaged me a couple minutes. Latif Faruqi, my dude, he owns Qualified Storm Leads. This is completely random, but he just messaged me. And for anybody who's I know we got some people watching in the Greeley market. Go ahead and direct message me right now. We got 1 or 2 people.
We got 3. So we have 3 appointments that we're giving.
3 appointments, literally ready to go for tomorrow in Greeley, Colorado.
So we got a 10 o'clock, 11:30, and a noon appointments in Greeley, Colorado. And if you guys DM us right now, if you DM Randy right now, he's gonna give those 3 out for free. Latif's doing a thing, just to show and everything like that.
Just because he's a buddy of mine, it's absolutely free. 3 free leads. We got a big, huge hailstorm hit Greeley 2 days ago. This is about as fresh as it gets, no lie. I mean, I wouldn't come on here and do something like this if I didn't believe in it. So there you go. So if you're still watching, there's a couple leads for you for free. Go ahead and test it out and see how it works. There's our shameless plug for the day. Yeah. Cool. All right, man. Let's start wrapping this thing.
Yeah, well, we'll start wrapping it up. I mean, we've had a great time having you on, Danny. I really appreciate it. I'd like to go to kind of like key takeaways and stuff like that. what's a key takeaway that you would want to leave business owners with that they should go out and start implementing it into their business?
I think one like very actionable step is that Facebook strategy. It's quite powerful actually, and to actually follow it with your staff, I think would be a great actual takeaway. I think one that's a little bit more just theoretical or just thought provoking is like, I would challenge you to look at your budget and see how much money you spend on marketing and sales versus how much money you spend on actual recruiting, and how much time you spend on marketing sales versus how much time you spend on recruiting. And if recruiting is your number one challenge right now, I would challenge you to start to not all the money and time moving over, but start to reallocate some of that money and time into recruitment. If you take those two notes from today and those become 2 action items, you will see a difference. This little like hour show will actually change fundamentally the way your company recruits.
100%. So I'm going to close with this. I'm going to sum it up with what a lot of the things that Danny talked about. So the first step to hiring and recruiting and finding great people is profile your candidate. Dig into the mind and the characteristics of the type of personality that would fill the role that you're trying to fill before you start marketing, right? So figure out who you're targeting first. Treat it like a potential client. And then create an ad that just stands out above the rest, that's very descriptive, that's targeting that exact personality that you're looking for. And then distribute that ad through your channels, your direct channels, whether they be already existing employees, family members, Facebook friends, and LinkedIn friends, and you will see some results. You will be able to get some good people to show interest in your company, into your brand.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, Randy, you're saying we might get a few forms out to these guys. You know what I did while we were talking? Is I set up a little thing that we can send people. Do you want me to send it out to them so they can get a little download?
Well, let's connect. Yeah, definitely. Let's connect. Go ahead and do that because there a lot of these forms are downloadable on your website and on my website. So if we have a lot of people watching that are already members of both of ours. So if you don't have these forms yet, go to the btacademy.com or the roofingacademy.com. Get onto the actual programs that you're in. A lot of these forms in different various shapes and sizes are available, and a lot of good stuff in the recruiting, hiring, and onboarding section of both of our courses.
Do you want me to put a little link in the chat window and then give them a little download code and then they can get into it?
Sure, let's do it.
Yeah.
That'll work. There you go, guys. Bring on Danny. You get a bunch of free, amazing content. Send it to me too, and we'll double check what we have and we'll sync up.
Code is Randy. I think the code I just put down there. So I didn't really like plan to do it, so it's a little last minute here, but there's a little download link I think I put in there, and the code should be Randy. So when you get to the request form and you fill it out, just put the code in. It should be Randy. And Randy, that way I'll know kind of who they came from and I can send them the appropriate forms. So
perfect. Hold on, man. Well, hey, Danny, thank you so much for joining us tonight, man. I really appreciate it. So it's not Vancouver. Where are you exactly?
BC, North BC, right?
North BC?
Yeah, it's Abbotsford. It's fine. It's a place. I don't know. Don't worry about it.
There's 12 people that live there.
Yeah, right.
We have more people watching this video that live in that hotel.
So guys, make sure to go check out the link that Breakthrough Academy just posted from Danny. Some great templates there. Also, I posted the video of one of the summer retreats to kind of see what it's like as a member there. But guys, this was episode 21 of the Start, Build, Grow Show. Thank you so much for joining. Awesome episode. Thanks again, Danny.
Awesome, guys.
All right. Have a good one, man. God bless everybody.